All right, well, thank you again for coming today. I'm Mark Cotter, I'm the Director of Public Works. Today we want to really highlight and get the word out about one of the next big transportation investments that'll be made in Sioux Falls. It's been less than a month since we came off our snow season, and we've got to maximize every day in our short construction windows to make sure that we can carry out the work that needs to be done so we can extend these pavement lives and most of all make your daily commutes smoother. One of the key projects that we'll invest in 2018 is improving Minnesota Avenue. And this won't be new to those that take this every day because we've had 2 years in a row of working north of here, and now the next natural progression is to really improve the area from 22nd Street down through 33rd Street. Minnesota is a very unique corridor for the city of Sioux Falls and the entire region. It really connects everyone from that Canton Highway south of town all the way through town and then ultimately up through Del Rapids. It's one of the true full north-south corridors that we have, and then it's just uniquely placed. It's right in the center of our city, so people utilize this heavily for their daily commutes. One of the things that we're going to ask you is for your morning and evening commutes is to look for alternate routes. That's when it's going to be peak time while some of these strategic lane closures happen to allow us to actually get this work done. In the off-peak times when it's outside of morning and evening commute, this road has the capacity to not only take the construction work but also facilitate the daily traffic. The businesses are open, and so we still want you to support the local businesses, but those morning and evening commutes already on Minnesota Avenue, there's some challenging points of congestion. When we start to take some of these lanes out, that's only going to get worse if we don't start to look for some alternate routes. Today with the engineering team, Josh Peterson is here, and so is Wes Phillips. Josh is going to take you through some of the key project details, and then Wes is going to follow up with what are those improvements we're doing to improve accessibility along this corridor for all modes of transportation, and some of those joints that you drive over each day that can kind of have that tire slap. We're going to improve those joints as well. So let's start out with Josh Peterson, and then Wes Phillips will follow on. Josh?
Thanks, Mark. Well, as Mark said, my name is Josh Peterson. I'm with Public Works on the construction team, and just wanted to talk a little bit about the project that's going to be starting up here Monday morning at 8:30. Just a few of the project details. One of the big improvements we're going to make is at this 26th Street intersection here. We're doing a full reconstruct of this intersection. The pavement is in pretty tough shape, and it's time to rebuild the entire intersection. And along with that, we'll be doing repairs to the pavement and utilities on Minnesota Avenue from 22nd Street to 33rd Street. Very similar to what you've seen in the past couple years on Minnesota Avenue. We're just continuing that work. As far as impacts to traffic on this, the intersection is going to be open during the entire project. You will be able to get through it. We'll be working on it a quarter of the intersection at a time. So we're going to be starting in the northeast corner here Monday morning, and then we'll progress kind of clockwise through the intersection as we can, so we can maintain traffic. On Minnesota Avenue itself, as we're doing the joint repairs, we'll be also maintaining at least one lane of traffic in each direction. Our first phase is going to be, we're going to close the center turn lane and the two inside lanes of northbound and southbound traffic. And then we'll maintain traffic on those outside two lanes. And the first closure, we won't be closing all the way to 33rd. We'll be going down to 28th Street to start with to get the contractor some room and get his construction train moving before we close the rest of that. So those are the big impacts you're going to see starting on Monday. As far as time frame of this, like I said, we're starting tomorrow or on Monday morning at 8:30. The intersection reconstruction, we're looking at about mid-August to have that completed and have the intersection back opened up fully. And the joint repairs will take a little longer. We're looking at early November before that gets wrapped up. So it will be a full season of work here. We got a lot of repairs we want to get done. So thank the driving public for their patience right off the bat, and just let people know that there are going to be delays if you travel on Minnesota, especially during those rush hours. So we really encourage people to look for alternate routes if they can during those morning and evening commutes. And if you can't take alternate routes, just be aware that it's going to take a little longer to travel Minnesota. So just leave a little earlier and leave a little bit more room for you to get to where you're going, so you're not late. So that's kind of the highlights of the project. Now I'll bring up Wes Phillips to talk about our street maintenance.
Thank you. As Josh said, my name's Wes Phillips, principal engineer in the engineering department here. I was just going to take a little deeper dive into some of the work that we're doing here at the intersection. As Josh mentioned, it's going to be a full reconstruction, so you'll see excavators doing utility work, and it will take a big portion of that construction window. And it is important for drivers to look for alternate routes where they can, as traffic will be a little congested. But if you're coming down here to do business, certainly all the businesses will be open and accessible during construction. Now, once you get away from the intersection, the work that we'll be doing is joint repairs. That's cutting out the area at the joints that you see that's deteriorated, and replacing that so our drivers have a nice smooth ride and we can extend the life of the pavement even further. The third item that we're really going to be tackling are ADA ramps, and these help with the accessibility for our pedestrians. If you look at the intersection behind me, some of the ramps are in pretty poor shape, very steep and difficult for people with strollers or in wheelchairs to use. So with this with this project, we'll be reconstructing 32 corner ramps, which will make a very significant accessibility improvement. And I just wanted to kind of let you know of an upcoming project we're not going to talk about fully here today, but we also will be continuing ADA ramp work going south to 41st Street and then on 41st Street from Kiwanis to Minnesota. We'll have another news conference later to talk more about that. With that project, we'll be doing another 50 corners. So in total, about 82 corners that will be impacting positively for our pedestrian accessibility here in Sioux Falls. Again, I just wanted to thank everybody for their patience during the commute and during the drive, and to slow down for the safety of both the drivers and our workers. I'll let Mark come back up and have some final thoughts.
Thank you, Josh and Wes. Just be cautious. We'll get started Monday morning. There really hasn't been any thoughtful long-term work done to this section of this roadway for about 25 years. So it's time for us to make a good investment, not only in the intersection, the accessibility portion, but also those joints, so we can extend the life of the pavement for at least another 15 years and make your daily commutes smoother. We do have some large future projects that'll start to happen in the years to come, from really Russell Street down to 18th Street. A portion of that was overlaid, and some of that drives fairly rough today, and we'll be making some temporary improvements in that. So just as people utilize this entire corridor, not only is important as it is inside the city, but it's a regional corridor. It used to be a state highway. The portion that's inside the city is a city road, but it still connects to a state highway as it leaves. And that's how vital this is to the entire region, all the way from the Canton Road, all the way north to Del Rapids.